What if your dog's endless energy isn't energy at all, but a nervous system that can't find the brakes? Welcome to The Dog Who Asked for More, the podcast for dog parents navigating real life behavior struggles, reactivity, anxiety, and all of the hard parts no one prepares you for. Each week, you'll get training, enrichment, and nutrition strategies through honest, grounded conversations that help you understand your dog, support their needs, and build the bond you've always dreamed of. And in this episode, you'll learn how to tell the difference between high drive and overstimulation, why burning off energy often makes things worse instead of better, and how to help your dog shift from chaos to calm by supporting their nervous system, not exhausting their body. When Fitz first came home, I genuinely thought I had brought home the most high energy dog on the planet. He wasn't destructive, but he wasn't calm either. He was in constant motion. If you've ever lived with a dog like that, you know exactly the energy I'm talking about. The pacing, the spinning, the tail chasing, the staring at every sound, the barking, the yard zoomies that feel more like a coping mechanism than joy. Fitz would get the zoomies after walks, after training, after eating, almost like his body just didn't know how to settle. And on the outside, it looked like enthusiasm. It looked like drive. And everyone told me he just needs more exercise. So I tried that. I walked him more. I played with him more. We played with flirt poles. We played fetch. We played tug. Anything I thought we could do to drain that energy. But Fitz wasn't getting calmer. He was getting even more wired. The more I tried to tire him out, the more frantic he became. And that is the part no one warns you about. On top of that, I was exhausted emotionally, mentally, and physically. I thought I was doing everything right, but nothing was working. And it was so frustrating. I felt like I was failing him, like I was missing something that must be so obvious because everyone else seemed to have it figured out. But what I didn't realize then was that Fitz's energy wasn't energy at all. It was overstimulation. His nervous system wasn't revved up because he loved activity. It was revved up because he didn't know how to come back down afterwards. He wasn't excited. He was overwhelmed. Overstimulation looks a lot like chaos on the outside, but on the inside, it feels like anxiety. And those two things feed off of each other. The more overwhelmed the dog feels, the more chaotic the behavior becomes. And the more chaotic the behavior becomes, the more overwhelmed the entire household feels. It's a cycle that nobody wins. Here's the thing people often get wrong. A tired dog is not always a calm dog. Sometimes a tired dog is just a dog who has been pushed past their stress threshold. When we try to exercise overstimulation away, all we're doing is stacking adrenaline on top of adrenaline. It's like shaking a soda can. You might think you're letting the pressure out, but you're actually building it up for an explosion. So how do you tell the difference between high drive and overstimulation? Well, high drive dogs have focus. They can play and then they can stop. They can rest between activities. They can choose to disengage. Their brain stays online even when their bodies aren't moving. But overstimulated dogs cannot hit the brakes. There is a wild look in their eyes. Their breathing is fast. Their movements are sharp. And they struggle to respond to cues that they normally know. They can't settle after activity, and they escalate their chaotic behavior. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. When I realized this with Fitz, everything changed. I stopped trying to drain him and started trying to regulate him. I added things like rest breaks, really slow decompression play or sniffaries in the backyard where he could choose the pace. We swapped high-intensity games for scent work, licking activities, and problem solving. And here is the wild part. The less I tried to tire him out, the calmer he became. His brain finally had space to breathe. His body finally had permission to settle. And because I wasn't in a constant state of fixing him, I could breathe too. And that brings me to this week's Answering the Ask. With Fitz, the ask became obvious one night after a long walk. I had taken him for what I thought was a good long exercise session, followed by playing fetch in the yard. And afterwards, he came inside and immediately started zooming in circles around the living room and the dining room and panting, pacing, and barking at every little sound. I remember thinking, how in the world is he still going? I just did everything I thought that I needed to do, and he's still acting like a crazy fool. But that right there was the ask. Fitz wasn't asking for more movement. He was asking for less movement and rest. He was asking for recovery. He was asking me to help his brain come down, not for his body to go harder. That moment changed everything about how I understand dog behavior. For this week's Brain Boost, since every dog is different, I want to give you 2 simple options to help your dog regulate instead of ramp up. First, try a sniff-based decompression game. Take a handful of your dog's food or treats and scatter them in the grass, or inside on a towel or a rug, or along a sniffing path in your home. Sniffing is incredibly regulating. It drops their heart rate, slows their breathing, and gives their brain a job that feels safe. Second, a puzzle-style activity. This can be as simple as a muffin tin with tennis balls, a cardboard box with kibble sprinkled inside, or a DIY puzzle from things you already have around the house. Problem solving taps the thinking part of your dog's brain, which naturally quiets the reactive part. If you want more ideas, there are a ton of them inside of my enrichment ebook, and you'll find the link for that in the description. Because every dog has a different preference, I want you to find what actually works for you and your dog. So feel free to message me on Instagram at MEM_lovesdogs to chat about other options or tell me what you came up with that really helped your dog get into that calm zone. I always love to hear about your ideas and try them out with Fitz as well. Today, we talked about the difference between high drive and overstimulation, why more activity isn't always the answer, and how to help your dog calm their nervous system instead of just draining their energy. We also talked about how to recognize the ask behind the behavior because our dogs aren't giving us a hard time, they are having a hard time. Here's the final thought I want to leave you with today. Calm isn't created through chaos. Your dog doesn't need to run more or do more or be more. They need safety, they need recovery, they need space to exhale. And so do you. So be kind, spread joy, and remember, the dog who looks like too much might just be a dog who's finally ready to rest once someone teaches them how. Thank you for listening to The Dog Who Asked for More. If your dog is bouncing off the walls no matter how much you walk them, or you're starting to feel like you'll never tire them out, you are not alone. It's not about more exercise. It's about the right kind of engagement. That's why I created a free enrichment guide packed with simple, science-backed activities that help your dog relax, think, and feel fulfilled without adding chaos to your day. The link is in the show notes. New episodes drop every Monday and Wednesday. I'll see you next time.